Hello, welcome back everybody to another episode of Chimera Cave and Blades Season 2. I hope you are all ready to sheath your capes and don your blades, because we've got a wonderful episode coming up. First, let's all introduce ourselves. Angela, you're up first.
It's appropriate timing. It's right as I finish the sigh. Hello there, everybody. I'm Angela. I am here with resignation to play Yolanda Moraga, our hopeful, learned transillusionist reality warping mage who got to see the god that she got punched in the soul by last session. So we're starting the season off strong and continuing it. We're going in a direction. I
Okay,
have no idea what that direction is.
I guess we'll find out. Also, what are your Yolanda's pronouns?
Both of our pronouns, mine and Yolanda's, are she, her.
Perfect. Morgan.
Hello, I'm Morgan, and I will be playing Vander. Both of us use they, them pronouns. Uh, Gally is a weapon and a devout, and they're a current uh we're gonna work on terms later, but some sort of religious leader of sorts for the Crosswinds, whose wanderings have brought them to our dear party today, and they have some issues in their past they'd like to atone, and they're trying really hard to atone for them, really hard.
Beautiful.
Um, uh, yeah, and let's see how they get along this time.
Yeah, my goal as GM is to see just how far they're willing to go. I mean, what? Anyways, Alex.
Hi there, I'm Alex. I use he, him pronouns, and I will be playing Tamal, the living statue who uses she, her pronouns. And is trying to find the mystery of her creator, who she has never met, but is now on the trail of finding some of these potential other constructs, maybe made by the same person. We'll find out.
Yeah. And last but not least, B.
Hi, everybody. B is not going to be here at all, but we thought that we would just give a quick introduction that they will be here later, and they're going to have just sort of a octopus sort of friend who's actually their character's companion and such, and they'll get into that more in just a little bit. But they have a very delightful character that they're bringing to everyone. They're such a sweetheart, and yeah, we're excited for when that happens. We love you, B. Please don't hurt me.
Yeah, I'll just step in. Hi, I'm Eight. I'm the octopus companion, and I'm just here to say that I don't think any of this is interesting, so I'm just gonna step away and be where the cool kids are until I show up. With that all established, let's do a quick session recap. Last time on Cape and Blade, we started out by re-meeting everyone. Some new faces, like Gally and O, and some old faces, like Tamal and Yolanda. We got established that they are now part of a hero union, a hero guild. Get my words right. Then they got a task from their organizer, Cyril, who uses a lot of very cool card illusion magic, uh, to go to a small town that isn't big enough to have its own hero guild or hero group and help stop a rampaging robot construct. We found out along the way that the base is established on a space whale that likes to beach itself on random moons, and the mode of transport is by smaller space whales that launch off the back of the larger space whale using its sprout. Don't think about the physics too much. They showed up to the town, and after an intense battle with the construct, were able to identify the rune that was binding it to its primary directive rather than its own will. And and Yolanda, through yes, Angela projected herself into the game and cast magic.
Look,
No,
if you want me to have reality warping magic and body manipulation, I will gladly
I
take
was about
that
to
in
say
my
like
real life.
if I could, I would give it to you in an instant.
Thank you.
But No, Yolanda will have to suffice for now. And Yolanda used her magic abilities to rewrite and disentangle the rune, but in so doing, opened her soul to a familiar entity, of a god who previously almost ripped her soul atom by atom, if souls have atoms. The metaphysics on that are still unclear. Um, and after a stressful conversation, promptly passed out. But her heroic act was not in vain, as the robot was freed, and that is when a badger wolf child stepped out to plead the rest of our heroes to not attack further, now that the construct was no longer a threat. And in the final seconds, Tamal was able to see a familiar warmth in the badger wolf, the warmth of Tamal's very own hearth, the mark of constructs made by her creator. That's where we closed off. So, we're gonna open up not too long later, still in the same town, still with some destruction around, but now that the threat is out gone, the the dwellers of the town have immediately gotten to work repairing the damage and making sure those who are injured are taken care of, making sure those who've been displaced by damage in their home have a place to stay for the next couple of days while repairs go underway. Uh, some of some of the badgers and the like are already well on their way into digging out new dwellings and clearing out the rubble. Everyone is doing their best, doing their part. And as thanks for helping you, they've given you one of the guest dwellings to use as a place of operations until you're ready to move on. So, the question I have for everyone: what does the inside of this dwelling look like? We've established vaguely that caves are the sort of central architecture touch point for this place. Rocks and stone features heavily as a result of that being where most of the creatures that tend to live here come from, or rather, the creatures that the anthropomorphic beings are based on come from. So they use a lot of rock and stone in the wall and probably in the decor. But I want to know some touches for this specific dwelling.
I think maybe because it's a place where they have guests come often, there's like a little like a guest book that you can like sign your name and like, the reason you were visiting, and like, you can just have a little space where you can like draw a little picture or do whatever you want there.
Hmm,
So that you can sort of like flip back and see who else also stayed at this place.
that's nice. I like that.
I was imagining that the actual like guest home, like some of them, I forget if we established that it was some of those who were among the residents of this area were more sea folk or more just a general mishmash of anthropomorphic sort of beings.
The residents of this area specifically would have been more anthropomorphic. I think land dwelling cave creatures for the most part. Um,
Land cave. I was kind of imagining, for whatever reason, like a clamshell kind of
ooh,
decor of some kind,
okay.
or like that kind of the because like a clamshell has sort of that openness, but the actual area inside of it is quite vast in terms of like it's almost like a big hump of
Mm-hmm.
for the top
Yeah.
like part of the quote unquote like clam mouth. So I
Yeah.
was imagining like the actual, it's not like a 4x4 kind of walled home. Maybe it has more of that kind of dimension that like a clamshell top has to it in terms of
Mm-hmm.
like its building like design and shape.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that. Mm. Morgan.
Yeah, I think like it's this place is deliberately built to kind of resemble, instead of looking like a hotel or anything like that, it's definitely built to like look kind of like a burrow or home. So it's got a lot of like hand woven like carpets
Oh.
and a lot of things like put on the walls that are um probably paintings. 'Cause pictures would be kind of weird because it would be for guests, but like paintings of like done by local artists and things like that hanging in the room. And instead of having like big like tables or anything, it's just like coffee tables and chairs and a couple other things that probably be more suited to other types of creatures that would be coming by too.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. It's got this nice touch of like recognition that it's a guest home with the guest book and allowing the history of the guests to be recorded, and while at the same time not wanting it to feel like an othering spot, and it's got this homey feeling. And the clam touch, is that a thing unique to this dwelling, do you think? Like whoever decorated this, Angela, or is this a thing that you think is a common motif amongst a lot of their homes here?
Part of me just part of me wants to think it's common, but part of me wants it to. I'm leaning towards it's unique, but for the most hokey kind of reasons that I just thought up, which is that like because there's the sort of idea of like finding like a pearl in like a clam shell or something, or like I forget what it is. It's a clam, or if it's like an oyster that you find like
Mm-hmm.
pearls in. I think it's a clam, but like that it might be just a common like attitude with the community here that it's like, well, why is this one so special? It's like because you never know the kind of treasure you'll find with folks who stick around the area or who decide to visit.
That is very
So it's kind
cheesy. I
yeah,
love it.
it's very
Aw.
cheesy, but but I feel like that helps cement the whole idea that it's like Construct just showed up and started doing things. This is not what we're used to dealing with. We don't actually try and
Yeah,
deal with stuff like this intense.
yeah. I like this. I like this cheesy little town. All right, perfect. So the three of you are seated, uh, or let me rephrase. There's a table in the center of the room, and sitting there are your two construct friends. Uh, is everyone else sitting around the table? Is anyone like walking around? What's the situation?
I'd probably be sitting.
Definitely sitting. She does not want to be standing after the earlier
Yeah, fair.
near atomization.
Uh, Probably sitting, but sort of um pretending not to pay attention, not because they're not inattentive, but like making it not feel like it's three eyes intensely
Mm-hmm.
peeling down on people. Just like make it feel like, it's less like a group like trying
Yeah.
to interrogate someone.
Uh-huh. Perfect. And in the center of the table, your hosts have provided you with a nice like pot of tea, and cups for everyone.
Yeah, I don't think I really drink, but like I still have like taken a teacup and like it's just sort of sitting in front of me.
Um,
Enjoy the little hot like saucer. Like it's the more the heat of it that you enjoy more than the actual drink.
Like
Yeah.
earlier, like we probably like held it up to your hearth, like heat it up, and then started drinking my own.
That's great. You can
It's
reheat
like,
it really easy.
like, hmm.
yeah. For the two constructs, the one that you all did battle with, does for its part take up the cup and try to drink, and you can see that, like was described before, half of its body was designed to be human and the other half was unfinished, and so when it takes a sip, some of the tea goes down and you can see it having a reaction to it, and the other just kind of looks like it's falling through machinery.
Ooh.
And the badger wolf child just drinks it completely normally. Being part wolf, I think what it actually has instead of a cup is a bowl that it licks the tea from.
Ah, so cute.
It's such a dissonant pair of images because the wolf construct I'm just like, oh, that's adorable, and then the other one I'm having flashbacks to seeing Pirates of the Caribbean, like when they
And
first reveal
yeah.
the like,
Mm.
oh, we're all dead here.
Oh
By the
yes, yeah,
way,
that's
the drink
exactly it.
falls down. Like
Yes,
it's
that's exactly it.
And I think I'll probably comment on it and say like, "Oh, that's so interesting that the two of you have some ability to ingest liquids like that. Personally, I don't. You know, I don't really have a sense of taste or smell.
Remind me again, we ever gender your creator?
I don't think so.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it's unknown to me anyway.
You're right. Cool. Right. Well, you know our creator. after you were created, the next project was to make more robots that more constructs that were organic in nature. I guess the best way to put it. Um, yeah. So hi. Um,
Hi.
I guess I should properly introduce myself. Uh, I'm Adam. Uh, I uh, I use. I'm still figuring it out. I he him pronouns were what the creator used for me, but I don't know yet. Um, and this is my friend. It doesn't have a name because it was never finished. I call it Sophia. It seems to prefer it pronouns.
Well, it's amazing to meet you both. This is something that I've dreamed of for a long time. I never even knew that there were others like me. I was never able to meet our creator. I just you know came into being in one of their abandoned buildings and would sort of piece things together from there. So you've met them then?
Um, well, not really, but while the creator was making me, uh, I got to listen to a lot of stories. I got to hear a lot. The creator wanted me to be like a real person, which meant having memories and experiences and getting bedtime stories. So I heard about a lot of the other projects, um, including your predecessors, your successors. But there's a lot of us. Well, there's a lot of constructs that were made by the same creator, I guess. Um, so there aren't too many like you. Um, you were sort of the last of your line, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah, the creator tended to get once once the creator was satisfied with one of the models, it was time for a new project. Um, you were a success for your your model, and so there was no need to make more of you in the creator's eyes.
I suppose I can see that. Yes, that's how I work with my own inventions and creations as well, I suppose. Usually I will be trying out new things rather than mass producing horseshoes or swords or whatever. Although I suppose, I can take to it if other people, but anyway, that's not important. But what do you like to do, Adam?
Oh, uh, hmm, I don't know yet. Um, Figuring that out. But hey, who are all of you? I did the introductions.
Oh, I'm sorry, of course. And I like turn and apologetically sort of look at the two of you.
Gally looks at Yolanda, and it's almost like a glare, just to like indicate, why does it have to be me? I don't like talking, kind of glare. Um, and they're like, I'm uh uh you can call me Gally. Um, I'm a uh a guide of the crosswinds. Yes, I got the title for the religious figure. Yes, I got it. Um, sorry for that little outburst that just came in. I'm like, yes, this is the one. Um,
I'm just imagining Gally like in the middle of this lobby, just jumping up. Yes, I got it. I know what my title is.
oh, if only they read that. Well, they are kind of emotive. They just wouldn't yell. Um, and they're like, it's the pleasure to meet you. Uh, they they almost like they forget the Adam's name for a second. They pause, like, Adam.
And remind us what Galley looks like again. I kind of forget.
So Galley basically, you can they have they're Southeast Asian kind of Filipino, but they have long black hair. Um, they're dressed in sort of like Assassin's Creed like robes. Except instead of like it being white, they're like brown and green, like a little more like earthy, like wanderer kind of vibes with it instead. But definitely they kind of look sort of like a reverent kind of garb, but also this person can move and fight in this thing, which is the more obvious
Yeah.
and apparent thing with that design.
Ah, a religious edge lord, I see.
Don't call me out like that.
Hey, I got punched in the soul. You get to deal with religious edge lord as an unspoken moniker. That's how this works.
And so they just like fleetingly look towards Yolanda and be like, "Don't make me carry this conversation, please." Is like their glance.
You just see her like raise a hand, and she pulls out a book flies out of her bag, but then it like kind of drops halfway. She's still kind of like struggling from being hurt earlier, and she's like, "Okay, not doing that this time. Hello, I'm Yolanda. It's a pleasure to meet you, Adam. We've haven't really encountered too many folks who are like Tamal, and it's a pleasure to meet someone else who knows of Tamal's creator."
Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you too. Oh, and I'm sorry. What pronouns do you all use?
Oh, I she her.
They them.
She's there usually.
Oh, okay. Cool. I'll remember that. Yeah. So, I did want to say, thank you for helping us out. I don't know how you did it, but it looks like you got rid of the binding on Sophia. And I don't think it's ever been free before. So, thank you.
Of course, yes. Do you know if that binding was something put on by our creator or if it was by someone else? I definitely didn't have anything like that on me.
Um, I'm not honestly not fully sure. I know that the creator would bind unfinished constructs in order to stop them from, acting in ways that could damage themselves or others, since their full existence was never finalized. But I've never heard of constructs being bound to do harm or a directive to destroy. But I don't know who could have done it. I mean, Sophia and I have been together ever since we left the creator's lab.
Oh, there's a lab. Is it nearby? Could we see it?
Um, I don't. I don't. It, and he just kind of freezes, staring off into the middle distance.
And I think after a moment of that, she reaches out with her big stone hand to like put it over his little badger wolfy hand and says,
Huh?
"But in your own time.
Sorry.
We don't want to force either of you into anything.
What were we talking about?
It's not important. Sophia, I'm so sorry to talk about you as though you're not here. Is there anything that you remember or that you would like to share?"
Sophia.
I think Galley just like, would you like a pen or some form of something to write with?
Mm-hmm. Sophia shakes its head, and it like finishes tinkering with the flamethrower arm that was damaged earlier, and like it points it up in like this, as if pointing a flamethrower at you, and just points it at its own head, makes sure that the flame rune is deactivated, then points it back, because that is also its talking arm. Um, if you remember,
Oh right, yeah, its arm is busted.
yeah, and its talking arm is its flamethrower arm, because this is the purely robotic arm. Because I am not one for many words, but I appreciate your assistance more than my vocabulary can convey.
Of course, and if you would like any assistance with repairs on your arm as well, and like reach into the portal to my workshop and start pulling out some like little fine tools for that kind of repair work.
Oh, thank you. That would be nice.
I've had to repair my own body a time or two, so I've gotten at least a little experienced with meddling with what our creator made.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm I don't have much experience with that. My body, well, here, and he
Ooh.
grabs like one of the nearby stalagmites and like pricks his finger on it, and it's like a little paper cut. Like, oh, it bleeds a little.
Oh wow. Uh, not
Uh,
as much experience with repairing that.
and goes, "Oh, not to
Does,
worry."
does it?
Because as you say that, it just very quickly patches itself over. There's like the cut gets covered with like a magical like energy over the cut, and then it immediately patches itself up over that magic. See?
Wow, that is very, very advanced.
Yeah. He. Um. Well, the creator wanted to make an organic being, but also realized that organics are a little squishy. Turns to Gali and Yolanda. No, no offense. But you break pretty easily. Um, and so healing.
Dear, I didn't start this way. This is also modified, so it's perfectly okay.
Oh,
Yolanda, do you think you could analyze that magic field and learn anything from it?
I can take a look at the very least if Adam's okay with me taking a look.
No.
Oh dear, we have we lost
oh
Alex?
no, we've lost our Tamal.
Alex.
Oh
Okay.
no!
Uh,
Wait, wait.
what?
I think she's still in the she's still in the call. It seems as though
Okay, we'll just keep going. I think Alex might have accidentally killed the video feed.
Messing
it
with
happens.
yeah.
All right.
I hear there.
Alex.
Return.
Okay, I hope I didn't mess up the order that we're in on the.
Nope, I have you pinned. So the nice thing about Zoom pins is that you don't
Oh,
need
so
to be
smart.
video. As long as you don't leave the call, you can close your video and the order won't get messed up.
Excellent.
Ooh.
But yeah. Gally, did you have an idea or something?
It would be a tangent. We can like wrap around to like after you do the
Okay.
analysis. Yeah.
But if Adam's okay with me taking a look, I have some experience in this, and while she's like, extending her hands out to her sides, like there's like two books rising up, so she's making it very clear, but in a very like
Yeah.
non-engagement sort of way that she's versed in the magic.
Oh, wow, that's cool. I guess we could give it a try. I don't see why it could hurt. I mean, it literally can't hurt. I can. Yeah.
Has suddenly made me more concerned.
Dear, they told me that when I went through all of this. If it does hurt, you can bring up an issue. Discomfort is also not something you have to deal with. You're
Oh,
not expected to deal
no,
with.
I can turn off the nerves in different points of my body. Like, I've kind of been messing around with the side effects of being this weird organic construct, and so what? I can just. And they just, like, grab their fist and just, like, slap their hand, and there's, like, a loud sound, and they just don't seem to react at all.
Wow.
Noted.
Yeah, it's kind of fun, he says, with just, like, a big grin on his face.
Internally, I am a concern.
He's just got the smile of a child who realizes he can mess up without the pain of messing up.
Joy. Meanwhile, I'm assuming Galley has just knocked over like a coat rack or something and is just dealing with that in the moment. But yeah, if it's possible, just to like fly open the books and just try and if there's through some capacity either to try and study the energy or to like flip through my books and see if there's anything of significance that I might find that this reminds me of.
Yeah, so why don't you roll me a thing?
A thing. It could be book learning in this instance, if that seems appropriate.
I think book learning can work.
Okay, so that means I roll with logical, which logical I have 2d8s, which is kind of nice to be able to roll. They are my highest size. Doesn't matter when you roll double ones, though.
Oh,
Oof.
no.
God, that's
I'm-
terrible.
I'm primed. I mean, make sure you mark all this potential you have. You're actually like halfway through a level up, I think, at this point.
Am I?
Because you have to count the last sessions too.
All right, that's
'Cause there's at
true.
least-
So
I think there's 1 or 2 failures then too.
yeah, I was at least at one failure.
Yeah, I think one. Y'all didn't
Yeah.
fail too much. Y'all were pretty successful last time.
Yes, it was just in the certain moments where things went awry, and
Those
do
are
I still-
those are partial successes, I think, for the most part, too.
yeah, they were partial.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
right,
forget
it was-
if the conditions carried over as well from last
The
session.
conditions do. Unless you
What I
do
figured.
the things to clear them, they will carry on. So yeah, while we're here, let's talk about that real quick. So besides, comfort your companions or certain playbook moves that allow you to clear conditions for others, there are, I think those are currently, I don't think there's other ways to clear conditions at this time. Yeah, so comforting your companions. Thought we had narrative triggers. Maybe we don't. I'm totally in control of this game. That's fine. All right, so back to the fiction. So you rolled double ones on book learning.
Yes, which thankfully has no tremendously like catastrophic thing on it.
Yeah.
I had a thought for this.
Okay, I'm listening.
I just kind of imagine she's like on the it's the most frustrating level of like it's on the tip of her tongue the entire time, but it keeps escaping her, and she like loses focus, and she's still hurt from earlier. So like she's holding up two big heavy like tomes in the air, and she's just like looking through them, and then she doesn't pay attention to overexerting herself, and then they both drop. One hits her in the gut and the other one hits on her foot, and she's just
Aww.
Beautiful. Okay, we can roll with that. I would.
Just-
like-
Because I was just
pure
wondering if like
loot.
you have a weird interaction with the magic that like is like really interesting, but you also be like, what is happening? I can't explain this.
that could also be another thing too, because like it could just be the interaction of like the learned magic is moving more into the reality warping powers, and there's a state of that that's just not great.
Right, whatever the creator's playbook was, it's not that.
Okay, here's how we're gonna do this. So yeah, first off, I want you to mark a condition for just like the frustration plus the books physically hitting you.
Ow.
And then
I'm gonna go with upset.
upset is reasonable.
So I am upset, afraid, and sad.
Oh
Oh
no.
no.
That is reasonable.
This is going great, everybody.
Uh, okay. Okay. And then you all just hear, huh, that's odd. And we look, and Adam's finger, where like they pricked themselves so that you could see the magic as it repaired his body, is the magic is there, but the like part where the body goes over it isn't. So it's just like there's like a little glowing magic spot on his finger that is halfway healing.
Oh,
That's not happened before.
maybe we should uh take things a little more slowly. And I'm gonna like lift the book off of Yolanda's foot and like put a hand on her back, just like rub it a little bit comfortingly and say, "Don't worry about it. You've been through a lot recently, and I know you can take it seriously sometimes when you have trouble with your magic like that. But don't worry, it'll come back to you."
And Gala's gonna attempt to steer the conversation away, so like Yolanda doesn't have to like explain what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Just hear very, very quietly. There's a kind of sound that she makes, which is just like so quiet. But she's like,
Can I get a comfort your companions roll out of
Yeah,
that?
why don't you go ahead and try a comfort your companions roll?
Cool.
Um, so this sounds to me like you are comforting your companions using optimistic. I think you're speaking from the heart,
Yeah,
or
that makes
relaxed
sense.
because you're sort of that's what you're trying to get. You'll
Mm-hmm.
understand. I'll for Ivor.
Let's see. I'll do optimistic. I'm actually not terrible at that. I don't roll it too often.
Cool.
So we'll do a d6 plus a d8. That got me 11. Heck
double
yeah.
ones.
That's the opposite of double ones. Alright, so comfort companions. On a hit, they can remove a condition or add 1 XP if they express their feelings to you. On a 10 plus, you may also clear a condition or add +1 to the fellowship pool.
Nice. I don't have any conditions, so I'll add +1 to the pool.
Okay? Yolanda, you can clear a condition if you express your feelings to Tamal.
Today is a very odd day for me. I really just am trying to help. It's working sometimes.
We all have off days.
I don't. I just have very good or very bad days. There's no off, there's just bad.
Well, this one doesn't seem too bad just yet. We've got tea, right? And I like refill your cup with tea.
And she doesn't say anything, but she just moves the teacup that like I'm imagining it's been a little bit of us talking, so it's cooled down. So she just like very silently but gratefully like takes the tea and then just sticks it against like your side so it heats
So
up
heat it
again.
up.
She's like, she just nods like a thank you, but she doesn't say it. She's just like,
That's so cute.
I will remove the upset.
Perfect. Um, and uh, there's a moment of just like sipping tea that is then punctuated in that silence by a lick. The sound of a dog licking a person, right? As you all turn, and Adam is licking the spot on their finger that he's pricked, and with the magic still there, and he just goes, tastes kind of sour, and it goes to lick it again.
Oh, I guess that doesn't mean a lot to me because I don't know what anything tastes like. And I sort of look at the two of you like, is this regular? Is a magic healing on your finger supposed to taste sour?
Gallic considers this like with very seriously and just shakes her head, just like I don't know.
It,
Usually you don't taste it, but you do get an aftertaste.
I see, I say, not seeing it all.
It's more like a feeling than a taste.
Oh, that's a pretty clear taste. Lick. Kind of like a lemon peel? Yeah.
I look at it. Has it changed color?
No.
Okay, good.
I don't know why, but I half expected Morgan to indulge in the joke by just being like, normally it tastes like cinnamon, or it's just like something else.
I thought about doing it, but I went with the subtext of, yeah, I know what this feels like.
Uh.
I also couldn't come up with a good flavor, so I couldn't go with the joke, which is the main
That's
problem.
fair.
Could go with Jamaica of all things, just because it would be the most random thing to have your lips. It's like, does it taste like hibiscus?
And so Gally goes to Adam and just asks like, so how long have you been here?
Here.
Both of you.
Here? You mean like here? He gestures as in like existing, or here?
Oh no, just the place,
Oh.
the town. Yeah.
Does some quick math, scutters over to the cave entrance, looks out at where the sun is currently positioned. 4 hours?
Oh. Did you come directly from the lab, or are you just wandering?
We've been wandering for a couple of weeks now.
Okay.
And Sophia, is this the first time that you felt compelled to start destroying things just in this town?
Uh, it turns to you and nods. Yeah, we were traveling fine, and it had been perfectly acting like itself. Until we got here, and then something flipped, and it started talking about its directive, and nothing I could do could get it to stop. And then it started with the flamethrower, and then the smashing, and then the sword, and then the um uh um
But it's all right now. Everything's all right now.
yeah.
I wonder if there's something in the town that you were trying to destroy. And I think because Tamal has a tactical acumen as one of
Yeah.
her abilities. Can I like think back on the battle and like walk outside and look at the like parts that were scorched and slashed and things and try to like find any sort of pattern? Are they moving towards anything, or are they just randomly scattered around?
Yeah. I'm gonna ask for a roll for that.
Mm-hmm.
Um
It's fascinating because I realized I don't actually have tactical acumen as an ability, and I'm like, huh, weird.
You can be well. You're a weapon, not a hand that wields a weapon, right?
Yeah, because I have a move that's kind of like it, just not an ability, and I was just like, interesting. That's fun.
Oh yeah.
okay, so I think you could use your senses, but I think it might just make more sense here that if you're like stretching out your tactical acumen ability,
Mm-hmm.
is to I'd say embrace your chimera might make sense here.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I think this is something that I haven't really done. Like I've done
Yeah.
tactical analyses of battles that were about to start, but not like recreating ones from the past. So I think that the way that she goes about it is a very lengthy, like just like walking around, crouching down and looking at the thing, moving around to look at stuff from a different angle and that sort of thing, and even like
Okay.
getting the other people and like setting them down and moving them around.
I have a question for you, Alex. Is it like,
Hmm.
are we doing it in reality, or are you mind palancing it?
I'm definitely doing it in reality. I'm
Okay.
not Sherlocking it.
Okay.
it's almost like I'm doing a little stage play of like, okay, you were here and then you were there, and I'll like actually like have you like run over really fast to the place you ran over really fast to and stuff. Okay, we can rule that out. That was just aiming at you.
I think this is gonna.
That's much better than what I thought it was going to be. Because in my head canon, it was going to be Tamal just for some reason gains the title of Strider, and like you have a long sword for some reason and a bow. And you're just like, the hobbits were here.
And then I kick a helmet really hard and I hurt my foot.
I was imagining tabletop and minis.
So cute.
To fully cement the whole meta joke is just like, yeah, for some reason I felt and like I have these weird little clickety clack things.
Yeah,
Like have
just
multiple
really
dots
wanted
and
to
stuff.
get some regular polyhedra to help me map out the scenario.
It's like you
and
just
how it
do a
went
bunch
down.
of skill checks, like rolling on the table. You're like, no, that wasn't it. Let's try that round again.
Okay. What am I rolling with?
I think logical.
All right.
I think this is the epitome of logical.
Yep, I'm only okay at logical, but we'll see how it goes. That's what happens when you stretch yourself and try new things.
Experimentation.
You get a 5 and a 3. 8.
Hey,
8's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
Thank
All
you,
right.
D4.
So on a 7 to 9, select one from the options below. First on a hit, it is successful, so you'll get the information you're trying to get. But you either yourself or someone around you get hurt. Brace yourself if you are the target. Something important breaks in an unintended way. The situation escalates. The effect is only temporary or unstable. There's a price to pay for success.
I think the one that makes the most sense here is probably going to be there's a price to pay for success.
Fair. I can make any of them make sense. Don't you worry about. Like,
True.
There's one that calls you. Don't worry about me.
A stalagmite falls on my head.
You have to with Amar as our GM. You never have to actually worry about whether it makes sense or not.
No.
Right. True. That would have to be a
I
stalagmite.
won't hurt you,
falling on
but
my
a
head like
stalagmite.
that, right? Okay. Amazing. Anyway, I'm gonna say there's a price to pay for success.
Okay, good. All right. I'm very proud of that one. Yes.
You should be.
I feel like Angela is more crushed than Yolanda was a few minutes ago.
Here, this is Yolanda summoning up her books to raise up and start looking for more information. Oh god, I just had the headcanon that Tamal, like, however much they do or don't know about folks like signaling like emotions and sentiments to one another, is like, is this how you express like looking through devices? Like, yeah.
Right, yeah.
That's serious
no
research.
Okay. There's a price to pay for success. So, you are starting to put everyone into position, right? And you start following, and you realize the battle once you started isn't revealing anything. So you start going a few steps back, right?
Right.
You start getting Adam and Sophia and some of the villagers.
I think that might even be running it like backwards in time. Like, okay, this happened.
Yeah.
Then that was before that. Then that was before that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Running simulation.
Yeah.
And
all of you villagers were cowering over here.
I think as you start going further back through the battle, there's a point where like you try to move Sophia further like back in time, and it kind of blocks up.
Oh,
and then like takes a step back, takes a step forward to try to get to where you are going, and then it locks up again.
and I'm not gonna force it
Yeah,
beyond that, but I'm like,
and
and I think I'll because again, Tamala is like pretty tactile. I'll reach out and like put a hand on their shoulder
yeah,
and be like, are you
it's
all
totally
right? Is this an important moment?
cool. It looks no, that is not it. I cannot pass this boundary.
Oh, you mean like in space?
It thinks and then nods.
All right, that's definitely useful information. Can you show me? And I try to like have it like step around in different directions from where it is.
Yeah, and pretty clearly it just outlines like the start of a radius at the border of the town.
Hmm. Like being trapped inside the
Yeah,
town. Interesting.
Does it wait? Does it go around the whole town or just like a specific sector?
you haven't like you could walk it out, but you can see that like if you were to make if assuming that it kind of follows a shape of the like arc that was drawn, it would cover most of the town. Yeah,
Okay, so it's
Hmm.
like a okay, it's like a bubble. Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Um,
Interesting.
and then it pauses, goes, but I think I can, and it starts to like walk back forward through time. That direction. I was going to there. I was destroying everything, but destroying that way.
Oh, excellent. Well, as long as you don't feel like destroying it right now, we could go and check it out together.
It just nods slowly.
All right, let's go.
Yeah. So you start heading, and like you're looking at the battlefield. You're looking at the heading it gave you. You're looking at the radius, or like sort of the circumference of the circle, and you can guess as to where the center point would be from that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you're taken to a mound of clay in the center of town.
Cool. I guess I'll ask some of our villager friends, who I assume are sort of milling around us. What's the deal with this mound of clay?
Um, a bat wearing religious attire uh, flaps over. If you're wondering how bats can wear clothes, go watch Kipo. That's my answer. Um, and they just go, oh, hi, yes, this mound, it's a mound of clay from before, from the surface before the uplifting. Um,
Wow.
it's got some magical properties. And it's tied to life force. Um, it's a pretty central part to a lot of our religious ceremonies, and it's especially important to those who are pregnant or have eggs that they're raising. Um, they bring them here to bless them.
Oh.
I go to um Sophia and I ask a question. Um, when you were headed toward this object, were you trying to destroy it or take it?
My directive was to destroy the town.
Hmm, not specific. Okay, that's fair.
And do you think what would the consequence of destroying this mound have been? I mean, it sounds like it's very important to the town, but would all of you leave if this were gone?
Oh, well, I mean, the the bat looks like there's never a question that's been considered,
Right.
and
Fair.
then they look around. Because there's so much space to leave to right now. Yeah. No. We would. I mean, we wouldn't go. It would be like losing a major religious symbol. It
Hmm.
wouldn't displace the whole town. I don't know why anyone would destroy it. As far as we know, it's mostly a minorly powerful artifact.
Hmm. Gally, you know
Okay.
more about religious objects than I do.
Yeah, I was just looking at my character. I have a question. Oh, would speaking with the mound fall under the purview of my source?
Can I
Talk
talk
to
to
the mouse.
rocks?
Hmm.
Can you talk to clay? Is essentially the question you're asking.
Oh, Lord. I mean, I could also be talking to the essence inside the clay. There are options.
Okay.
The answer
Sure.
might be no. I just don't. I'm just like also not sure.
Yours, the god of the crosswinds. Um, I think you can attempt it. Let's say
Okay,
that, and we'll
that's
see.
that's fair. Okay. Um.
Why don't you read this move to everyone?
So the move is called Faith is a Common Language. When you try to commune with beings or things that fall under the purview of your source, roll with the attitude that it respects the most. On a 7 to 9, it conveys simple meaning and scattered thoughts to you. On a 10 plus, the communication is clear um, and relays. Wait, 1 second. Uh, and relays precise details or a greater range of thought.
Okay. I think the attitude that is respected the most by this clay has got to be relaxed.
Oh, useful. Okay. D8, D6.
Would it be possible to try and help them with this as well, pulling from the fellowship pool?
If you
We
wanted
can do
to,
that.
definitely.
Yeah, we can
Well,
do that
because I
retroactively too, right? With
Yes.
the fellowship.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I was thinking because if this is with like in the purview of like ancient monuments or at least like something of a historical
Mm-hmm.
significance, she at least might have some books and might be like, okay, don't say this, don't like do this, walk in
Mm-hmm.
this pattern, or like might be a way of like from how she
Yeah.
knows in other contexts how generally monuments of this nature like what might be the best way to actually initiate that communion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So it's +1 to roll, I believe, and using one of. I think we have one fellowship point.
We just got an additional one.
Yeah, we have two now. Yes.
Yeah, so we could use one of them for the roll with Yolanda assisting.
Okay. Let's roll. Give it a shot. Yes. 13.
Oh wow.
Wow!
Well, all right.
Wow!
That's almost maximum. Um,
Yeah, I rolled an 8 and a on a D8 and a 5 on a D6.
well, there you go. Okay.
Wait, so that's 14, right?
Yeah.
Did I do the math wrong?
Or did you
Two,
say
Two
yeah,
8 plus
plus
5,
1.
right?
Yeah, that's 13.
Plus the
Yeah,
1
'cause-
from the
Oh,
assistance.
plus oh yeah, plus the 1.
So it's 14.
Oh, right.
I
Okay.
didn't know if there's anything more significant on this 13 and 14. I
No.
don't think there is. I think
I don't think so. I mean,
max is
we can save the
Yeah.
fellowship point then,
Okay.
and for later keep it banked. I mean, you can still narratively help, just
Yeah.
like not
Yeah.
use the fellowship point, because I'm
So-
sure I need the help to like fictionally be able to do this, because it's like you're helping translate one religious set of practices to another. I'm like, oh, okay, and it's like us kind of trying to like work out like through my experience and your knowledge, like the right way to like interact with this thing in the most respectful manner.
I'm just imagining a much more religiously toned version of trying to teach the fusion dance to one another. I don't know why. Like,
that is
that's
not the
just
sentence
came-
I expected to hear. I'm gonna be honest. That's not
You're
where
welcome.
I at all expected that sentence would go. I would never have guessed that in any of my guesses.
You're welcome.
Rotate your heel 45 degrees from there. Now
5, not
pop,
44.
not 37, 45.
Okay. So, I think the way this happens is, what were you trying to commune with it? What do you say to it? Let me start with that.
Aside from the hellos and the general like greeting, and it's I guess it's like I kind of like would probably be asking it about like the dangers it would feel, like if it's like worried, like if it not necessarily like, has enemies so much as like is there like something after it, or like does it sense like danger in its direction, or does it fear its absence would cause like greater harm to the area around it, like that kind of thing.
Okay.
Or like just generally pressing on worries and anxieties of it.
Horrible conversation to have.
What? Hello, Mount of Clay. What is your anxieties of life?
Do you worry about your existence? Do you feel like if you are gone, like people would care about your
Oh.
absence in this place? Like that's the
So
religious
true,
equivalent of
though.
what we're asking this mound of
Yup.
clay. It's like,
Yup. Woo.
oh god.
Heavy stuff, even for a rock.
Basically, you're asking it if it's hit rock bottom.
Well, I mean, it hasn't hit rock bottom yet. Everything is currently fine. But if it's afraid of hitting rock bottom for very specific reasons, that would be very helpful.
Okay. So, you begin to commune, and the winds begin to howl. And
Hendrix plays.
the wind begins
You
to howl.
Morgan.
And as it howls more, the clay begins to shape. And the wind moves through the shaped clay, first in a note, then in almost a melody, and finally, when the clay keeps shaping more and more, the wind goes through one end as wind and comes out the other end as words. And you hear these words. I am the clay. I was there before and I will be there after. Nothing done to me is done forever. But most do not exist forever. I bring life, and therefore my absence would not bring that life. I would bring it again, as I always do, as I exist before and I exist after. but time treats all differently. My before and my after are different than yours. My yesterday an aeon, my tomorrow a millennia. I will reform in time. Nothing truly will be lost. Not from my perspective.
Hmm. I think Gally turns to Yolande and Tamal's like, I definitely asked the wrong question. Help?
Well, this is interesting because, I mean, we don't know much about the motivations of either our creator or whoever activated this destruction rune on Sophia. So it could be that whoever it is working on a very long time scale. The sort of person who
I,
builds statues and gradually brings them to life must be pretty patient.
is it a long time scale or a short one? Does it just need a momentary absence?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
But
But
what could they be trying to prevent? A particular child from being born? There's too many ramifications for me. I like to lean my head against a wall.
Yolande, do you have something to say?
Well, first of all, Angela, just having just reminders of like every game I've ever played where it's like, hey, have you ever talked to an ancient being where you're like thousands of people's lives could be gone, and it's like you live 70 years, I live 8,000. Your
Oh.
lifetime is like a breath for me. This is what this is like talking to, which
Your
is
lifetime is literally a grain of clay in the passage of time.
yeah, that's
Cool.
so I'm just noting like my appreciation for including one of those kinds of characters because I love that's one of my favorite things to throw into a game because you're just like things could go so badly. It's like, oh honey, you'll be dead way before this age is over, and it's like, oh, that's comforting. But um, so if I have this right, just for clarification, so the being seems to it's speaking of these cycles of life, this longevity to its existence,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing in particular about what they've said so far seems to indicate why our construct friend Sophia went this way. There's just a sense of like I'm aware that my absence would cause something, but I will return because I am eternal in a way, not actually, but kind of.
Essentially, yes.
Like it's like a momentary inconvenience from their perspective, right?
Yes.
Like tripping, basically.
Does based off of what Galli would have been able to communicate to me regarding the the clay's intentions, do they seem indifferent to those around them, to like the area around them, in the sense of like because of the sense of like it being an inconvenience? And if that's the case, like do they seem like they give a damn? I'll start with
Mm-hmm.
that first question. Do they seem like they give a damn based off of the responses we've been given so far?
So let me clarify one. I think you can all hear the wind that is blowing.
Okay,
here.
that's helpful.
Nice.
Just because that is easier in this case. Two.
I'll pull up my Rokari now. Don't worry.
Two. It's hard to tell, right? Emotion exists on different scales. Caring means different things to you and
Right.
to it. Um, but considering that not existing is not a threat to its existence, then it's probably easy to extrapolate that the only particular reason it would care about a momentary lapse in needing to reform would be that it would not be around to help bring life to the area. So, as much as it cares in fulfilling its duty as part of like the cycle of this area.
Yeah, like I think Galley probably doesn't pick where it kind of understands, but I guess out of character, I think it's the I'm asking the wrong question. So like we probably just need a different tack of like what we're asking to just like move this conversation in a different direction to like actually get something we're not useful, but like something that more toward what we are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else spoken to you in this way? Has someone, has someone spoken to you about someone like this and like them, and points to Tamal and Sophia? Because that's more specific than just like, has anyone talked to you? It's like, no, has anyone talked to you about folks like this? Because that's much more pointed, and that's also
Yeah.
much more in the region of like, if they were just talking to the clay, it might be someone doing holy
Yeah.
rites and such. Whereas if they're talking about our construct friends, why? That at least gives us something to work off of.
Mm-hmm.
The wind picks up some of the clay and moves it around Tamal and then like around Dulanda. It's like a little stream. It's not like enough to cover you or anything. It's just like almost as if the clay is touching and examining what is being pointed to.
Mm-hmm.
And then the clay is
Cool.
brought back to the main mound. And the voice says, I am unsure what difference there is. I have spoken to many like you. Yesterday, today, I have spoken to beings seeking to create life. I do not see the difference between constructs of flesh and constructs of stone.
Wait. You've spoken to more constructs like Tamal?
The wind howls in almost a confused laughter. I don't see. I think you misunderstand. You are like Tamal.
Yeah.
Or sorry, you are like this Tamal you speak of. You.
I was like out of character. I was excited because I was like, wait. Is there like a colony or like is like a whole like consortium of Tamal like constructs? And I was like, wait, that's a lead. And then I realized, oh no, wait, it's like we are all blessed beings and constructs when you think about it. And I'm just like, oh god, one of these
That's
people,
nice.
one of these people in conversation where it's like, no, I need you to actually help me, fucker, in this conversation.
Yeah, but also like, but the other tack to follow up on would be the I've talked to many people about creating life, though.
Yeah, that's the other thing that stood out. I'm just out of character. Like, god damn, it's one of these kinds of conversations.
Yup.
Dialogue tree A, B through H didn't work. What about like these 6 other dialogue trees? Someone else pick the next dialogue tree.
Come on, go.
Let's see. I think. What
If you
do
get-
I?
Yeah, if you get stuck, just ask about yourself. Like if you're curious about your own existence, that seems just fun in general.
Are you curious about your existence? Just casually. Do you wonder about your own existence, Tamal?
She does a lot of wondering about her own existence. Yeah. I think. I think I want to bring Sophia over and ask it if I can like open its face up and if we can like look at the rune and see if we can figure out anything connecting the rune to the to the mound.
Okay, I like this. Okay, so Sophia nods and like moves over and it activates the mechanism to like open up its faceplate, and the rune shines towards the clay, and the wind picks up some of the clay to go feel the rune the same way it felt over y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And the first bits of clay that hit the rune cause the rune to glow, and the little bit of clay that touches the rune seems to become inert, separated from the mound, and
Whoa.
the rest of the clay and the wind quickly pulls back. And the wind picks up into almost a howl of rage, the sound before a storm starts.
Mm. Well,
And then it settles, and the clay slowly returns back to its normal mound form. All of the clay except for the bit that begins to dissolve into the rune.
whoa.
And
Oh, you go,
Yolanda,
sorry.
you have a bit of experience with magic. You can see sort of the magical energy being bound into the rune. And looking up close, you can see another portion of the rune that when you acted on it, you were acting on the part binding Sophia to its drive. But there's also another part of the rune to bind another thing.
I knew there was an element of this, but I couldn't think.
Why I don't like enchanters. There's always another step to break the enchantment, for fuck's sake.
Question.
Yes.
So, with like binding, is it just like severing a part of the mound, or is it the whole?
The
Essence
mound,
of the mound.
right now it looks like the mound is safe, but you could. It's pretty easy to guess that destroying the mound would have like freed up the magical energy until it found a new host, right? Which is the reforming process. But the binding here would have prevented that. It would have caught the magic.
Yeah. Okay. So it just is. So like we didn't actually.
No, you didn't actually break
Okay.
the mound here.
Right.
It caught because it was sending out a feeler with a small part of the mound.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
So it lost a little bit of its mass, and it's like, hey, I didn't want to lose my mass. What the heck?
Yeah, basically.
So
And
I
just-
feel really bad. So I'm going to ask. Everyone else can take care of other stuff, but I'm going to do some sort of like ritual for the mound just because I feel bad.
Fair.
Like offer like water it or something. I don't know what it would. Whatever the priest thinks would make it happy. Because I feel really bad. It's probably suffered more pain than it like has suffered in eons, and that's that's a lot.
Mhm.
You take that route, and me as a player, all I can help but I can't help but think that what Alex just did is when you play the game, you press X to doubt, but it was the wrong move, so it leads to like the worst outcome possible.
Right. Yep.
You're just
Yep.
like, well, you know what? I think you're a dirty, rotten liar, and it's like, I have evidence indicating that I could not have been involved. You've just lost all of my trust. I'm no longer involved with this case. Thank you
Yep.
very much. I'm out. And you're like,
Yep.
well, just
Heck.
shot myself in the foot. Yeah.
And at this point, Adam wanders over towards the mound of clay, and a little bit of the clay sort of starts to shift towards Adam, and like Adam holds up his finger with the like still magical pinprick, and a little bit of clay rises up from the mound to cover the magical pinprick, and then he's healed. And that's what we're going to call a quick 5-minute break. We will be
Cool.
right back.
Yeah.
See you all in a minute. Hello, welcome back. I hope you are welcome back. I hope you are all ready to unsheath your capes once more.
Yeah.
Are we drawing swords as well, or have we abandoned that? Did the production run out to allow us to draw swords as well?
No. You just unsheath your capes and you
I've
don your swords.
already
Keep with the
done
program. Hello, we no longer have an octopus. In fact, we have a person playing an octopus in their place and who's also doing makeup on stream. So, welcome to the B makeup tutorial stream. I'm your host, Hammer Emeraz. I realized I never introduced myself the first time. So, hi, I use they pronouns. That person over there, who we are going to be commentating on as they do makeup, is B Zelda, here to play O and 8. Riveting makeup gameplay we're watching here. You can see the
Now-
specific preen of the camera in order to adjust the specific details. No, okay. So back to this session.
I was here for that. Truly.
I was also here for that.
I can do
was
my
just about
best.
to-
I can do my best esports commentator voice on pretty much anything at some
Right.
point. That'll be a
Just
difference.
do the if you want to make it an FGC like commentator, you just need to add in like a couple folks go yelling, or you
Yes.
just need a parry sequence of blocking Beezles.
Well, we need someone to play off, like someone to do color commentary and someone to do play.
The play-by-plays, yeah.
Carry
Anyways,
a gun in the actual stream.
I could, but also we shouldn't.
yes.
But also,
we really.
but also, where is the makeup tutorial Chimera module?
Ryan Amerwen, come on,
When-
come on.
The makeup genre. What would even be the makeup genre?
I don't know.
Depends
I
who
mean,
you
now I'm just
ask.
imagining like it's worldwide wrestling, but like it's just like has the two layers of kayfabe versus presentation and like backstage drama of like managing a show.
I would subscribe to that.
Okay, so back to the session with that interlude. I hope that woke you all up again.
Game design.
So Adam just kind of looks at his finger and then turns to all of you. Goes, "Oh, hey, so my finger is normal again."
What was your finger before? Please enlighten me. I might have been napping. Who knows?
Oh, it's good to see you.
Thank you. It took me 18 hours to put this makeup on that I just did in 30 seconds.
Also, you're coming a little bit louder than everyone else.
I
Thank
can
you.
turn my gain down.
That's way quieter than everyone else.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay, now it's like in between. How does that sound?
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Like be themselves.
Yeah, exactly. This is your other friend who was also there in the background, kind of hiding, right at the fight.
Me and Nate? Yeah, we were hanging out.
Well, hi. I'm Adam. I use he pronouns, and that's Sophia. It's.
Hi. Oh, I'm O. I use she, her, and that's 8. Sometimes he talks, sometimes he doesn't. It depends on how my third is feeling, you know.
That raises more questions about the mechanics of your relationship than I care to answer.
Don't ask. You don't need to know.
I feel like organic bodies are fragile enough that I should probably be concerned. Is this a cause for concern? And he turns to the rest of the group.
I think it'll be okay, given my limited experience. Adam, I was wondering, earlier we found out that Sophia was not able to, well, either not able to leave the town or maybe not able to get too far away from our friend the clay mound here. Have you tried leaving the town? Do you think you're stuck here too?
Oh, 1 second. And he just gets on all fours and, like, sprints out. And, like, 60 seconds passes, then, like, 2 minutes. Sometime during that, um, there's like just in the middle of the silence, we all waiting. Like the bat clerk goes, hi. Would you all like some fruit juice? We harvest the berries fresh.
Can I have 2 cups?
Sure. And start the bat cleric hands out fruit juice to everyone, and then 30 seconds later, Adam runs in. So I ran out very far, and then I ran back, and nothing stopped me.
Great. Have some juice.
Oh, he, he takes the cup, pulls out a bowl from a backpack, pours the cup into the bowl, and starts licking from the bowl.
Good
That's
method.
So good.
Good method. I have to have a straw so that 8 can drink because like his little mouth is all the way up there, and if I pour the juice on him, then I just get up with like juice on my hair. It's a mess.
That sounds like a hairy situation.
Ah, yes,
I've been
it
studying
is.
puns.
I still don't get them. Yeah.
I
Sophia
love your
turns
humor
to
on
you,
the surface.
and it just gives you the shrug of commiseration.
Just still working on jokes. 2 of us.
Sophia turns to you and goes, "Why did the robot cross the street?"
Why?
Oh.
Jamal, do you know this one?
Because its
Don't ruin it.
prime directive told it to. Ha ha ha.
Really good. I understood that surface joke.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. I don't know why. Why is nobody else laughing?
You know how we have like icy hot patches in our actual everyday lives to like deal with like shoulder pains and things of that sort. I'm just imagining there's like an arcane version of that, but for headaches. And
Right
Milan
on.
just has like
Apply
2 of
directly
them
to the
summoned
forehead.
from each book, just like on the her temples. She's just slowly processing. This is the group she's working with right now.
Amazing.
Uh,
Never thought you'd long for the day when Jupiter was with us, huh?
Jupiter, tell me about that for a second.
Sounds handsome.
So heckin' handsome.
The long and the short version of it is that they're remarkably handsome, talented individual who we worked with for some time. They're processing their own related issues and such related to an absolutely terrible father who has absolutely no grounds in even referring to them as his parent and such because he's far too good for him.
Huh.
That's the long and the short of it.
Well, that summarized it really well.
He also, I believe, went off to go be with a penguin of some sort.
Wow. Congrats. That's lovely.
Yes, it is. You can see her just combing through a book trying to see if, like, is there anything within anything Yolanda has studied that she's still caught up on the whole rune inert magic thing. That's her. She's like, is anyone else seeing this shit? Like, that's what's going through her mind right now. It's like, is anyone else seeing the...
Yeah, this seems like a big deal, for sure.
Yeah, this is bad. This seems bad.
And like Allie just like comes back and is like, yeah, I was just trying to help the mound feel a little better. That seemed quite painful.
That's fair. Comfort is good to provide in these times. I appreciate it. But if I may very calmly state, the fuck?
I could
Relation to-
try restoring the piece that got taken out, but also I don't want to like put my hand in the rune either in case it drains the life out of me. So, anybody else want to touch it?
I'll
Like
Why don't we put a
maybe
fruit in it and just
do
see
we
what
have-
happens to it?
the least magical person here.
Me?
Wait, I don't. Is it? I'm not. I mean,
Gally?
I'm not sure. Do you use magic? Oh,
Uh, yeah, kinda.
okay. So that's about equal then.
I'm still learning, I've only been on the surface for a little bit. I spent a lot of my time listening to what 8 tells me to do, and it's so far been terrible advice. But I did find all of you, and that has been quite nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I
I'll
found you
say-
through the guild, and then the guild, we did that thing, and now we're here. Yeah, no, it's good. I don't know about magic.
Yeah, like Galley can use like you've probably seen Galley use some maybe. It's weird because it's you're not sure. Like it's not like Galley's magical as like a like creature inherently magical, but like they have some capacity to use it.
What about O? Is O magical?
She has no idea. She spent most of her time in the water, in the deep, where everything that might have been considered magical was just normal to her.
Right.
So she can't really differentiate what is magic versus what is just like weird surface stuff.
That makes total sense.
Well,
That's fair.
I have so much. It's somewhere between that intersection of I have so much privilege I don't see it anymore, and also isn't everyone awesome like me? It sounds like that's the intersection we're working with.
A little bit.
So just as like a clarification for what everybody wants, like what do we want to do with this thing? Like with the rune in terms of investigating and or blowing it up or whatever?
Figure it out, I guess. Yeah.
What?
Try to I think my Tamal probably has an objective of wanting to help Sophia. And
Yeah.
Sophia has several problems, including being stuck in this town, maybe, and having a weird directive that they were forced to do that was put on them by an unknown party, either our creator or somebody else, right?
Yeah.
So I think the mystery I'm trying to solve is who put this rune on them and why, and what were they trying to get out of it?
Okay, so don't
And how can we
sledgehammer.
find them and punch them?
I have a proposal as a potential way to get at the let's try and remove this rune as a threat, but also let's figure out, may I try either investigating through tomes or just by pure magical like know-how and ability try and like figure out who initially cast the rune, like try and see if there's some way like in pulling from the magic of the rune itself to like, oh god, bees, no.
8 pulled me
God,
back for a second. I got really weird, but we're back.
I-
Always back.
I just had Silent Hill flashbacks. Thank you. Like, is there a way to like trace back, like like basically do like Batman Arkham Asylum kind of thing of like recreate the steps of like who initially cast it and try and trace like that connection, like maybe like figure out if there's like a tether of some kind or lingering magical trace to try and figure out who might have done it so that we can figure out who to go and do the punch.
So I guess one thing is that doesn't Sophia have more than one rune on them? Not just this destruction rune, but other ones too.
Correct.
So we could compare them, and maybe the other ones would be less dangerous because they won't be like magic drinking, self-sustaining runes potentially.
It does have quite a few runes. But yeah, that is one option. Yolanda, if you want to roll for that, you can roll to use your senses if you would like.
Okay, so that is use your senses. What? I'm trying to think. What is the appropriate narrative attitude? Would this be logical or would this be something else?
Which approach are you committing to for doing this?
I think, given how brute forcing it has gone before, I think she's gonna not do that route and just do, because I feel like it's appropriate, like with Alex having come up with it, that it's Yolanda and Tamal like doing back and forth.
Yeah,
of, like,
yeah.
What's the best route that doesn't hurt me more?
Uh-huh.
/ what do you know versus compared to what I know?
Okay.
And so I think it might be logical in that case. Does that make sense? Or unless there's an argument to be made for something else.
If you're going so you're going sort of like this slow, methodical going through it with someone else, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna go with that's actually valiant.
That makes sense. That also makes sense to me. Which so if
So-
I have I have afraid.
So you'll be rolling 2d6 for that instead of 1d8
Yeah,
and
instead of
1d6.
1d. Yeah, that's what I figured. Yay! Please no double ones.
Not
Okay,
again.
that's an exact hit. That's a 7.
Hey,
Hey.
statistical average.
Statistical average.
We take those. Okay, so you get to ask one question. What can I use to blank? What is their attitude? What impression do I get of blank? And how can I take control of the situation?
I'll say, what impression do I get of the runes?
Okay. Here is the impression that you get. As far as you can tell, the runes crafted for motor function, the runes crafted for the flamethrower, and for speech, the runes crafted for binding, are all crafted in the same style. Now, that leaves the room for like two people who studied the same style, or who are someone trying to like impersonate another person, but it's much more likely that it is one person, right? Or at the very least, that tends to be because it's like handwriting almost, right? There's the rune might say you might be writing the same rune, but there's small flourishes and the like that. However, the flourishes on the binding rune are less. The rune for the flamethrower, you can, or let me start. The rune for the motion, the rune for governing the part of the body that was fully complete, those are clearly done with attention to detail. Like the runes are etched in to not be to be like on level with the rest of the body. That there's finishing details put to them. There's flourishes in the art. There's attention paid to the material, and there's made sure to not be crude or to damage the surfaces. The flamethrower and the speech rune in the arm have a lot of the same touches, but are a lot more efficient. There isn't that level of finish to the artwork, right? But there's still that same care put into it. The rune binding is brutally efficient in its design. It's still very clearly the same base of style, but there's none of the extra touches to make it look nice. It is just the bare bones of what it needs to be to work. That is the impression you get of the runes. More specifically, you get the impression that the runes are very limited in scope. This isn't just a magic absorbing rune. This is a rune that traps the magic for later use, specifically life energy magic. So, what type of magic the clay mound is tied to. And it seems, I'll give you even, that it is tied to its signature in some way.
Binding one?
Yeah.
Like it's been specifically designed to to attach to that one.
Yes.
It's probably long litany of description, but like as she's about to go into it more, she's like, wait, pull back. Rephrases it so it's much clearer and much more concise. And then is like, well, two things as takeaways. One, this last person is a terrible arcane engineer. No sense, complete understanding of the workings of this. And two, this has been tailor-made. Like, this has been devised in a way to be tailor-made specifically for the mound.
Oh.
Which is concerning.
That's very concerning. I mean, setting aside what they would even be trying to gain from taking this life energy, it's just a horrible thing to try and do, to take such a wonderful and ancient, form of life and to destroy it when all it does is try to help people.
There are many of those that would just perform chaos for the sake of it, like whoever destroyed my city down under the water. I mean, I believe that there... Oh, that's not my voice. I believe that there might be some correlation.
This person seems very ambitious.
Very evil.
You don't just grab life energy just on a whim.
Right. Whatever they were storing it to use it for, I don't like the idea of it.
And how do we help? How do we make this better?
Sophia, can you feel any way to release the energy that you've stored in that rune? Could you try giving it back to the clay?
It just shakes its head. I do not even know of the trapping functionality. That was not my prime directive.
Right. Well, I'm so sorry that someone has done this to you. This is absolutely terrible.
Oh, I have an I have an idea. Sophia, would you like to make a bond pact with 8? They won't take your life force, just any emotional energy that you might create.
Wait a second.
Huh? Yes?
It blinks.
8, are you okay with making another bond? I don't know. What do I get out of it? Friendship? Yolanda, you're making that face that you do when you're really stressed and concerned. There's like a vein, and it looks really angry.
It's not angry, it's somewhere between concern and panic.
Oh, it's hard to tell sometimes with you.
It's a face I make a lot. Quick clarification, just in terms of like this is to be. Have we understood the like that as like an ongoing thing of your relationship and dynamic with 8?
I don't think so. I feel like maybe up until this point I just thought I had an octopus in my hair.
I prefer my limited emotional energy undrained.
Okay, no, that's very valid. I think 8 is kind of having a grumpy day too. You know, he doesn't like when I spend too much time in front of the mirror. Well, that was my only idea, based on my limited understanding of the situation.
That's all right. This is very complicated. I'm not sure any of us really have a grasp on it.
We definitely learned something from you, O.
Oh, I'm glad.
So
I imagine it's nothing so simple as destroying the rune or I mean, I don't want to say cutting off Sophia's face. I could make them a new face. Like I can do that easy. But
Cool.
that seems like a lot.
Have we tried just scratching out the rune?
The faceplate swings shut before you get close. Yolanda, I think you would know. How experienced are you? Do you think in like rune work and rune languages?
I feel like I think she from this is more character sheet related things. I'm trying to remember which the specific ones. History and culture and ritual and tradition. So I feel like she would have a pretty decent understanding of that. Not necessarily for her school of magic, because I feel like hers are more. It's illusion magic is one of the more like. Yeah, I have more of an I have more an academic understanding and less of a practical, because I imagine her basis in illusion magic is more on the metaphysical end of magical casting, as opposed to enchantment stuff is like it's the difference between an astrophysicist versus an engineer. Or like not an astrophysicist, a physicist versus an engineer. An engineer has a much more like practice doing the actual physics and the application of certain theories and things of that sort, whereas a physicist might have like, oh, this is how you work. One is the nerd, one is the geek. There's a division between the two.
So you, I think, would know that's a bad idea. You could see enough to see that whoever made that rune bound the energy, like, trapping process, and that rune to Sophia's, like, core energy. and so damaging that without untangling that bond would likely kill Sophia. It's essentially a failsafe built into that rune. It's doable. Like, I mean, you know for a fact that like any rune work can be undone with enough research, practice, and precision. You just wouldn't know have like the experience or the skills to do that off the top of your head. Like it would require a lot of work or knowing the right person to do.
Just had a bad idea,
Oh
but it's an
gosh.
interesting one.
Okay.
Yay.
So that thing seems to have at least, if not a sentience, it's drawn to some source of like energy
Yes.
the moment something gets near it, right? Two questions. One, given what I know, is it possible to overload, number one? And two, can it be transferred to something if too much, if another valuable source is presented?
You don't know what its limits are, and you can it was meant to hold what is essentially like a minor deity or some ancient artifact, so
Okay, that's
probably not going to be overloaded, but it could be redirected. Yes.
Now I'm just like thinking of Yolanda. So how do I bribe it to go away?
no. My thought was on the much more dangerous end, because I'm trying to explicitly more the season play my character as well. Let's test things
Yes.
more instead of the let's just do exactly what the book tells me, because it's got me so well so far. So my thought was, well, if I technically one of my abilities is energy manipulation. So what if I just create a giant like whirlpool of energy and just be like pull the rune out of it, metaphorically speaking, but also kind of literally. But this seems like a bad idea.
No, I think that sounds good. Tamal can make a construct, and we can just put that bad energy in the construct, and then we just have to deal with the tiny construct.
Oh, I like had a totally different interpretation of this actually, which is what I thought the thing that like came to my mind was like when O said that was that you'd like create a second Sophia, like that's like that where the junction point is the is the rune, and so the rune can detach to the fake construct.
Oh my gosh. Does that really solve the problem, though, or does that just make an equal and bigger problem?
These are all non-solutions.
Makes it into a conjoined twin.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's basically so it, like you basically fake a construct like signature, and then you just like split it to the fake one, and then you can just pull it off.
Are you asking me to willingly participate in creating our own splitting paradox problem for ourselves, where we start splitting it until we can't remember which one is the original?
Of a faceplate of Theseus. I see. But Tamal, to sort of wrap up your way earlier role that you did, you recognize that like clearly this binding rune that is designed to like trap the energy is also what is binding it to the radius of the energy source, right?
Okay, cool.
You also know, if you remember back from your battle, that it was able to absorb your energy during the fight, which means it's already in some way connected to your signature. So the price that I'm giving you, if you want to, because you chose to pay the price, one of the options you realize is you could instead rewrite the rune to bind, or not rewrite the rune, realign the rune to bind to your hearth's energy, so that Sophia could leave this town as long as it stayed within a radius of you.
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah. So I've been, sure, just for the little visual gag, she has sat down and is in, like, the Rodin, like, the thinker pose.
I knew exactly where you were going, and I still was great to hear out loud.
And then looks up and is like, I've got it. And so she says, Sophia, I think that I could, because you were able to absorb the life energy coming from me, I might be able to remap that rune so that it works with keeping you near me instead of keeping you near this unmoving lump of clay. Would that be preferable to you?
It thinks for a moment and then goes to begin nodding, but then stops and says, "If you did that," and pauses and then lowers its arm and tries to continue the speech using its own voice box instead of the speech rune there. That would mean I would be a danger to you. If we touched, I would drain you.
That's true.
Are you okay with that?
Yes, I think that could work. And I mean, we do. I suppose you don't know a lot about what we do, but it is a lot of going around and having adventures and visiting places and things. So it could be fun if you wanted to join us, and you know, you too as well, Adam. I don't imagine you would want to leave your friend either.
No, no, I wouldn't. Of course, I wouldn't leave it. Where it goes, I go. But we would look to find a permanent solution, right?
Definitely, yes. I've been meaning to start learning rune lore myself, you know, so that I can make enchanted weapons and cool
Okay.
stuff like that. So maybe I can start that study a little bit more in earnest, and we can draw some more lines on it and turn it into a different kind of rune or something. I don't know.
Okay. Um. And Sophia, you look at Sophia's face, and the part that is finished, there's tears that are like starting to
Oh,
form, and the other part, the eye light like blinks on and off as if like in an attempt at simulating tears. You would do that for me?
of course. You're the closest thing I have to a family.
Oh my gosh.
Uh, Thank you.
Of course.
Um, uh, and it reaches out its human arm to like offer to for you to hold,
Yeah, yeah. I'll reach out as well.
and sort of interlock fingers, and it smiles. This will not be the last time we can hold one another.
No, just the last time for a little while.
And it smiles and opens up the faceplate, and you see a little wisp from your hearth float out towards the rune, and it uninterlocks its fingers from yours as the magic rebinds.
Yay! No rolls required.
Nope, just emotional turmoil.
No rules to
I'll
put
take
yourself
it.
in danger.
Yes. I'm marking the sad condition in real life.
Alex or Tamal?
Yes.
Both.
Fair. Uh,
Oh, that's good.
um, if you don't mind, me and Sophia are just gonna go over there for a little bit and just chat. Thank you all for the help. And Adam like grabs Sophia's hand and they wander out and leave the four of you all alone for the first time in a bit.
Should we invite them to the guild? They would seem like good guild people.
Yeah, I think we can definitely extend the invitation. I imagine that once we've got this whole they have to stay within a certain distance of me business over with, they might want to do a little bit of traveling and seeing the world and doing whatever it is they want to do, but I'd like to give them the option. It would be nice.
There's really smart people in that guild as well. They if we ever need any help, maybe they could be the ones that we reach out to. What about Sarish?
Yeah, yeah, that sounds nice.
At the mention of her name, uh, no, nothing that dramatic. No worries, no worries. Just Yolanda. Uh, when you took her hat and her card from her disappearing act,
Yeah.
the card in your pocket like burns at the mention of her name. Like not like full fire. It just like heats up a little and like you feel it.
I think she's been like, because I'm
Yeah.
imagining this whole time where like they're having a tender moment, but both in her head and at least visually, like to this extent where like O would have been able to be like, Yolanda, you seem like you're so, like your face is like all scrunched up and focused like it usually is. Because like in Yolanda's head, she's just like had her hands out, just like preparing for if Tamal remotely looked like she was going to like get her power down from the energy loss. She was about to transfer her own energy into Tamal.
Oh, of course you were.
She's had like two books like very just lightly raising off the like not her usual height because she's tired, but she's just like okay. But like she drops them at feeling the card. Like that's the like she lets out like a tiny like yelp. Also, hello dog. Hello dog. Again. Yeah, she pulls out the card.
Oh, nothing. It's the card, but like it reminds you that its existence is there. If you wanted to contact her.
Oh, I remember that card. Is that a very smart person? Yeah, there's just so many animal sounds in this town. Cats, dogs. Weird.
There's a wolf. There's a wolf person currently out on a date with someone else, and it's just occasionally it's just like they just proposed in the background, and like that's the sound. They're just like oh. What's a cat? No, it's a cat and a dog person. What are they just proposed to the other? Wow, I'm really
Yes.
excited about that.
Really good wedding proposal.
I have kind of want to go check, but I also don't know. She pulls out the card and I might have to go check in a second, but I think she pulls out the card and she's like, would you like to help us? I know you can hear.
Galley,
The response you get is the card sort of like flips to face you, and the Sairish on the card. You already know where I'm going with this. They wink. That's all you
Well,
get.
What happened?
Out of character, I will simply quote what a friend has told me: "Is why she gotta be hot though." That's the only sentiment I have towards them about this. I'm just like, why? Why?
Uh,
Like,
and then the Sairish in the card, like in response to your "Do you have any advice?" question, just shrugs.
yeah, that's about where I'm at.
Well, I suppose in some ways our mission here is complete, right? We saved
figured.
the town. We
Yeah.
saved
Nothing's
even
on
the
fire
mound
anymore.
we didn't know we were here to save.
Job well done. I think. I don't know. Looks around. What's the state of things? Was a lot destroyed? I can't recall.
I don't.
Not too much. You managed.
Okay.
People were repairing and stuff.
We've avoided the "we've saved everyone" condition or state of things, and we've landed in the like, like a 10% of a usual Marvel Cinematic Universe level of destruction, which is pretty good for us.
Yeah.
I think at this point, unless does anyone have anything they want to do? Or okay,
I mean, all I got is just like, oh, I'd want at some point I want a scene with like Galley talking to the constructs, but that
yeah,
could
we
be
can have that.
later.
That yeah, I think we can do that next session.
Okay, that's fair.
Who I think we're gonna get right now is as you're all just kind of standing there, you hear the sound of a cell phone ringing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too, Alex. That's
Is
and,
someone playing music?
and you all look around, and you see. You remember how earlier Adam was drinking his juice from a bowl. You see the cell phone ringing seems to be coming from like the bowl itself.
Huh.
it's not how I expected that sentence to end.
No.
And as,
Wait, I think I
as-
know where this is going now.
yeah, I think Morgan's got it. You see like with each ring the juice ripples across the surface of
Mhm.
the bowl.
At least O and 8 will kind of like peer their heads over top, like, hello? Present?
Oh no!
There you go.
Oh no! God damn it!
Yolanda's
I
around
just
if you want
remembered
to talk to her.
I just remembered the last thing you told me for the other session. God damn it!
And the ringing sound turns to the voice of a man who sounds like John Constantine going, ring, 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 ring. As Killian, one of your surrogate parental figures, attempts to scry call you.
Ring back?
Yeah,
Who are
it-
you here
it-
for?
That's for me. She has that expression that in every film you've ever seen of like, guys, can you just be cool and not be yourselves for like 5 minutes that like every teenager has towards their parents. It's just a grown-up version of that. It's like,
Ring, ring, ring.
can we not do this?
Hi, Yolanda isn't at the phone right now, so please leave a message after the beep. Beep.
No,
Hey,
she-
Yolanda, darling. How are you doing? It's been a minute. Please answer your scrying bowls. I know you can hear me right now.
Yolanda, your bowl is calling.
she dejectedly like walks over to the bowl.
As you're walking over, okay, enough of this nonsense. And you hear the sound of someone being like tossed 10 meters across a room. As
Do
Yolanda,
you hear
dearest, you there?
I think you just watch because like it's like I'm making this an ongoing thing for the season where she's just like the height and the manner in which she carries she floats the books around. She had it the way that like a kid like dragging their like stuffed animal along the floor would be doing it, except she's just like barely raising it above the ground. But the moment she hears someone else just be like do that, she's like picks up with her hands and immediately like runs over. Hi.
And Diana looks up from the bowl and smiles at you. And like she's there as well with did we ever we named your last parent figure? I just didn't write it down.
We had the Zatanna stand-in and we had the Constantine stand-in, but I don't think we actually named the Scarlet Witch
We never
stand-in.
named it. Okay, cool.
It was Killian, it was Diana, and then I don't think we actually gave her one.
Do you want to give her a name right now or later?
Annabelle.
Annabelle. Cool. So Diana's got like arms around Annabelle, and in the way of like, yeah, sure, Annabelle's been back for a few months now, but Annabelle was gone missing for years, and like it looks like Diana still hasn't let go of Annabelle since Annabelle came home. In the, like, I'm hugging you at every chance I get, and you were going to deal with it because you went missing in another dimension for years. And fuck you.
It's the full body glomp.
Yes.
Where like it's just
Yes.
like it's like a little kid like latching onto a parent when
Yes.
they don't want to leave the parent, but it's the relationship version of that.
Exactly.
Oh no.
Uh,
Hi.
Hi. How are you doing? Um,
It's been a day.
yeah. Annabelle felt something. She said it was sort of like what pulled her to you when a few months ago. Um, is everything? You fighting another god?
Um, that we're aware of? Not yet.
Oh, that's good. Is your soul in one piece?
As far as I'm aware,
Oh, well,
giving the most not like she's trying to be reassuring, but it's just like it's probably only like 80, no, like 60-70% landing. There's the rest of it is just like press B to doubt
from
furiously.
from the background, from like a pile of boxes where he was tossed, you just hear a voice yelling, "Are you eating your dessert?"
Yes.
Good. It's the most important part of any balanced diet.
Oh, would turn to Tamal. Is that true?
I don't know. I don't eat.
Huh.
Maybe.
Why did I ask you and not Callie? It's fine.
It made it even better because we all forget
That's
about
so
Tamal's
good.
constructs. Tamal's-
Killian picks himself up and goes, "Well, of course it's true. I mean, if you're eating dessert, it means you've eaten the rest of your meal, because dessert comes after a meal. And therefore, if you're eating your dessert, it means you're eating all your meals properly."
she does the yeah, that makes sense. And then you, if this were like a movie like pan, you just see the thought cloud go to several days where she's been like in bed really sad and she just ate like cookies or something to keep herself going.
Oh no.
She's like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, sure.
Oh no.
Flawless logic. And Annabelle sighs and goes, "You know, I somehow certain things never change."
It's to be honest, she like, I feel like it's one of those things where like she's trying to be like just turn the bowl to the side a little bit to try and be more like private, but it's also it's a bowl
Yeah.
around a bunch of people. She can't really.
You're on
She's like-
speakerphone the whole time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm on speakerphone. It's not happening. She's like,
Oh,
it's
so Annabelle looks up and goes, so who are your new friends?
that's just sort of turns the bowl, like starts doing the like older person Zoom call thing where like he's just like he just
Yes.
starts turning it around to everyone. Just like, so that's O.
Hi.
That's 8. I'm generally afraid
Hi.
of this.
Oh.
I'm kind of worried about them.
Immediately, like both Diana and Annabelle like look at O with like a very like, you know, and like it's half academic, half like magical professional curiosity. Just like turn back to Yolanda, darling. You know what you have there, right?
In regards to is Diana saying that to O?
To 8 or O, can't tell, but it was after you introduced them.
Yeah.
No,
But
not
says
at
to
all.
you, Yolanda. She goes, darling, you know you have
Oh.
there, right?
I'm starting to worry about what we might have here.
Good. I'm sure you'll figure it out. They give you a smile of like parents who are like, they can figure it out.
Thanks. I appreciate the vote of confidence.
Of
This
course.
is definitely what I needed in this moment.
And the rest of your friends?
This is Gally. No, it turns bowl directly to Gally.
Interjection, they might know who I am just by reputation, but
Yeah.
not by that name.
I mean, does your reputation have like, is your image tied to your reputation, or like people know your other name by reputation but not?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. So I don't think they do at this point.
Yeah, it is a possibility with random people who are like know enough about the world. But so I figured I'd mention it.
Killian, I think Killian does know but doesn't react. Killian just gives you like a knowing smile, because Killian feels like the type who would know like about the type of past Gally had.
Yeah, probably. And I just give the like eyebrow raise of, huh?
And he just gives you the most devilish, shitty wink.
And then
And,
like
and,
turns it,
and, and I'm just going to go like the nod of understanding, but oh no, but understanding.
and then turns it back to Tamal. And you know, pretty certain you know Tamal. This is Tamal's new friend slash new family member.
Oh, they're all gone. They're like outside.
Oh,
They went
all
to
right.
get some privacy.
Right. This is Tamal. They're delightful. She's possibly one of the best people I've ever known. Well,
Thank
best
you.
folks I've ever known.
And we have some new friends as well that are other constructs that were made by my creator. So that's very exciting. And I suppose you all can meet them later.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. I'm glad that you have, good friends with you. And you're sure you're doing okay?
Yes, I think I'm doing fine. And like I think she turns the bowl just away,
Yeah.
and she doesn't say anything else beyond that, but like she like takes a deep breath in and she kind of like just snaps her fingers that probably would look like just like a a tick of some kind, but like she kind of coughs a little bit because she's kind of hurting, but she changes her eye color to try just looking at the bowl and just sort of indicating like not doing great. It's like
Is this a bad time to scry?
I need to talk to my friends about something, but I will check in. I promise.
Before we go, well, there's some news you probably need to hear about.
Yes.
How do we put this? Killian just yells from off bowl. We lost a god.
I'm sorry. I thought I heard you wrong. Are you saying you lost a god?
Yeah, just completely vanished. Poof, thin air. And there's just like a slapping sound as Killian gets punched like 10 meters with magic again into like a wall. And Diana like fidgets nervously, and Annabelle just takes a breath and goes, what our wonderful Killian is trying to say is, after your last encounter, we kept track of the entities involved to make sure that they stayed as dead as gods get after encounters like that. It's part of our responsibilities to track threats that were, to make sure that they don't resurge. And we don't know where... Well, we know where the Skybreaker's still vanquished for this cycle. But, we might have... We can't really find the other one.
I lean over to. Oh wait, are we hearing this as well?
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
No,
Cool.
no. Like the hearing part, I think is just it's open to everyone. I think it's just the eye part that like she was trying to indicate like she wasn't ready to just throw all of the. By the way, he came back and said hello again. Part
I,
just
I
yet.
lean over to O and I say, "Oh, this is a sort of a sky thunder god we dealt with earlier. His name was Jupiter's dad."
Gods, kind of like you lose your shoes.
I half expecting Tamal's answer to be, I don't know, I don't wear shoes.
She doesn't wear shoes.
Yes.
Yes,
So much conflicting conversation between us.
that's so good. Yeah, I don't know. Don't wear shoes.
Okay. I'm learning about shoes, since I've been on the surface, and so far I've lost every single pair I've owned.
Just so you know, we are looking for the god still. And, I'll get back to it once I disentangle myself from this wall that I got thrown into.
You just see her, like, say, well, thank you for letting me know. I appreciate the check-in deeply. She also snaps her fingers, and through the connection, you just see Killian just sort of like, but it's like one of those really loud, like when you remove a suction cup
Yes.
from a wall kind of sounds. Where it's like, okay.
Killian, like, straightens his back and cracks. No one can ever really accuse me of being a wallflower.
Thank you, Killian.
Really good pun. Tamal, in the deep, we puns all day long. All day long.
Oh, good. Maybe I can learn from you.
Why don't we get back to you when we reconvene somewhere else for a sec? Does that work?
Of course. Please be sure to scribe more often, dear.
I will.
All right. Well,
I like drop a pebble into the water to like disrupt the image.
Appreciate that.
As the image disrupts, you just hear the voice yelling, "You don't just break it by saying you lost a god, Killian!" And that's when the image just goes away.
Yolanda just like, she sets the bowl down. She walks very like straight back and everything, like very like well put together. She puts the books into her bag, and she goes up to Gally and she says, "Gally,
Yes.
I apologize for what is about to happen." And then she just falls forward and she passes out in Gally's
Catch.
arms.
Beautiful. And in the last second before you pass out, you hear, "Oh, they've lost me. Well, isn't that amusing?" And that's where we're ending the session.
Damn it!
What? What?
Gotta give us something to go out on, right?
Why?
Angela's on the ground.
All right. Well, everyone.
Roll. One roll. Well, actually, it was more like 3 rolls, but it felt like one. I just wanted a polycule family. I just wanted a network of folks to check in every now and then. I just wanted to be a disaster queer in peace. Now I just get to be reminded of God sniping at me like someone in my DMs.
Oh.
He's worse than a reply guy because he just comes up at the moment. He can talk to me in my head. That's
Right.
worse than a DM guy.
So invasive. Outrageously rude.
I just had the cursed idea of like rating people with psychic powers on like a scale of like reply guy to like what up. And, like which like except Xavier is 100% a reply guy, right? Like
Honestly.
Charles Xavier
Worse.
is a reply guy on that spectrum, right?
Well,
like,
no, it's like worse because he wants to like actively interfere with your life, regardless of what you want.
So reply guy and slides into your DMs.
yeah.
See, I just thought the scale was going to be like one end of the spectrum, which is still bad, but like the lower end is reply guy, and the other end is devoted, loving father.
Oh, I thought you were going to. I thought the 2 poles were bad to worse, not good to bad.
No, reply guy is still
Same.
bad. It just keeps getting worse. It's a scale of bad.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you said caring father. Never mind.
No, I did say caring,
Okay.
devoted, caring father.
Oh, 2.
Have you ever seen those guys who
No.
It's gonna be a whole thing. It's just there's
All right,
been so many of those.
We should do our outros.
We'll do our outros. It's
Hi.
a separate conversation.
Thank you for tuning in. Angela, would you please say who you are, plug yourself. Where can people find you, more of your lovely voice and face?
Hello there, everyone. I'm Angela, otherwise known as Phoenix24Femme on Twitter. where you can see me posting about a lot of different projects that I am involved with, and where regularly on Thursdays and Tuesdays I share some of my own created works, as I am a professional poet and a writer who has worked for various things like the inaugural Disability Writing Fellowship that happened through the Rooted in Rights disability rights storytelling outlet that I did a couple of years ago, where I did a lot of different blogs covering disability related issues. I am one half of the Queerly Yours relationship podcast with my live-in partner of 9+ years, as we are actually, in 4 days, we'll be at exactly 9.5 years, which is really awesome. But
Yes.
there's that. We recently put out an episode about top surgery and such. And then the most recent one that I think just came up like a week or two ago was on gender norms in culture and relationships. So we talk a lot about our own experiences with what our expectations have been around us in a relationship. And also, in terms of places you can see me streaming, I am part of the All Nerds Here gang on Sundays for the Sunset Street Plays for the Dungeon, where I play. I do not play. My puppet friend, who I assist, plays a small little weather fairy based off of mythological being from Bolivia. And also, you can catch me bi weekly in the same weeks that these are happening uh, on Fridays doing a Slayers Albenpak crew. We only got 3 more sessions, but they're going through Slayers RPG in a sort of hack of the original systems setting that each of the players has actually been involved in creating their own city district that I'm taking them through. So that is really amazing. And also, I'm a freelance musician, and I have a Patreon, Philosophem, where I post. At the end of this week, I will have 180 pieces up, 90 of which will be available for public viewing. That is a lot of stuff. I probably have more things, but I forgot them all. So
Well, look who's
carry
busy.
on.
Remind us again, in season 1, who was making fun of B for having too many plugs?
Hey. Accurate.
Morgan, you're up.
Yeah. Oh, I started listening to the podcast, Angela. It's pretty good.
Hey.
Anyway, tangents. I'm Morgan. You can find me on Twitter at magpie_mirror, and I'm also a game designer, and you can find my tabletop role-playing games at nestedgames.itch.io. Not to too much right now. I did get some big shower thought of a whole game idea yesterday, literally in a shower, so we'll see where that takes me. I like have the notes on my phone. I'll need to turn it into like an actual written thing on a page probably tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, it's Saturday. That's probably when I have time to work on it. Anyway, tangents. But yeah, follow me in those places and you'll see what I'm up to probably.
Yeah. Awesome. Alex.
Hi there, I'm Alex. You can find me on Twitter at a Fractal Dragon, and I design games at fractaldragon.itch.io. I'm also on the Forever GM podcast, where we're currently playing End of the World, and I'm playing a character who is based on one of my pet rats, which is pretty cute and fun. And I am also on the lovely stream for Corazon Station, where we're playing Pasión de las Pasiones in space. We had an amazing episode last time with someone getting shot by themselves because it turns out there were 2 of them. It was very, very good, real primo telenovela stuff. So look forward to that. And is there one more thing? Oh, yes. So interestingly, because we're recording this ahead of time, tomorrow I might be playing some Genshin Impact with Kupo Knight. So if you swing by their channel, you might be able to watch that and this at the same time or something. That would be weird.
So you mean today you will be?
Yes, today on Friday the 26th, if that's when you're watching this. You could also watch me play some Genshin Impact at the same time. We might be checking out some of the festival events and stuff. It's pretty cute.
And finally, no longer an octopus, B.
No longer just an octopus. I am so much more. So much more. Hello, what's up? It's me, your busy bee. I am a podcaster, streamer, game designer, content creator, all those things and more. Most notably, every other Monday, the Broadswords comes out with a episode. We are a D&D podcast. On Tuesday, we have our last episode of Indie Showcase on the Roll20 channel. Please check it out. It's going to be fabulous. On Wednesdays, I stream some Burn Bright on the Salty Sweet Gaming channel where I play 100,000 bugs in the shape of a wallaby who's dealing with some real moral quandaries. Who knew that 100,000 bugs could have so many moral questions?
I mean,
On
I guess there would be a lot bugging them in
Oh
life.
my god, you're great!
Continue your plugs. I just couldn't not.
Never pass up. On Fridays, if you're not already checking out this right after, I will be on the Nomadic channel where I play a little red panda bear named Nebula who only gets into trouble. This Saturday, I'm recording an episode of Call of Cthulhu in Space. It'll appear on a podcast somewhere. I don't know. On Sunday, for Gary Con, I will be streaming with Kobold Press. One last time, level 20, my Minotaur, who had to take some levels in Warlock because they made a pact with the devil to save a child. The child sucked. His name was Walter. But whatever. And then right after that, there is the finale for Power Play, where we have to save my alien self twin person and like so many other superheroes who've been locked inside of a giant glass tower, and we can't destroy the whole place because our friends are in there and we don't know how to save people without destroying things. So yeah, come check out the things that I do.
Okay. You know what? Be still trying to give Angela a run for her money. I see.
trying.
Well, I guess I will follow that act up. Hi, I'm Amr Amaraz. I use they, she pronouns. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Amaraz. I don't got a lot to plug right now. I'm in between things and I'm gearing up for them. But when I do, you will hear about them. That's it. I got short and sweet today. That's all. And thank you all so much for joining another session. I've been your host. And once more, I implore you, now that we're done, sheath your capes and don your blades.
Undon your blades.
Undon.
Doff your blades.
Yeah, I couldn't really feel like undon just didn't sound right.
You gotta doff them.
Doff your blades. Doff your blades.
I won't be here next time, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
Cast your blades aside.